I've been battling this for years, crying for years, because I went from a virgin at almost 30 years old to a single mother. But they don't never talk about how men lie and deceive women.
In my opinion, a woman who thinks her biggest value is her coochie and gives it to every man, and a woman who thinks her biggest value is her coochie and gives it to no man are the same woman. Same coin, different side. You are going to learn the hard way that men do not care. A man will still dog you out, treat you like garbage, and leave you as a single mother struggling like he would at 3 or 4. Ladies, you will never be rewarded for being a good girl. The only thing you get at the end of saving yourself for a man is a man's acknowledgement. And a man is not a prize. A man will not love you more, treat you better, not cheat on you, or be a better husband just because you held out on dating and experiencing intimacy with men before him. And if we're being honest here, I feel like there are certain types of men that look for women like that. Women who are religiously male-centered, women who feel like they are better than the next woman because she has not slept with men, and women who are inexperienced and can be easily manipulated. Now, I'm not saying that as a woman you need to be giving your goods to every man that you date. Far from that. But we need to acknowledge that men, society, and religion do not want the best for women. So stop giving them so much power on what you should be doing with your own body.
I hope you're focused and on your square.
Hey, this has to be every father's worst, you know what I'm saying, one of his worst nightmares, you know. This is tragic in a sense, honestly. And I'm going to play devil's advocate because we always talk about how women are fast, how women are promiscuous at a very young age and things like that. But this woman here, I believe her. She claims she's 30-year-old virgin. And she gave her virginity to a gentleman. Now she's pregnant and she's saying he's not around, pretty much in a roundabout way. But the thing about the matter is, there's so many variables she's not speaking of. Like, how did you meet this dude? You know, how long were you two together? It's what did you two discuss? And like Kevin Samuel always says, marry before you carry. Did you require him to have your hand in marriage before you carried? So despite the fact honestly it's tragic, you still didn't. And you know how we feel about marriage in America, you know, with the whole legal system and everything like that. But the father's supposed to vet the man before the daughter will even get into a relationship with him. But before I proceed with this, I want to give all the honor, glory, and praises to the Most High Yahawah and His only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus. Letter J didn't exist 2,000 years, nor did the English alphabet. Double honors to my elders at Great Millstone. Single honors to the Yalat. Peace and blessings to the 1/3 and to the confusion of faces in the 4 corners of the earth. Shalom. 30-year-old virgin, now single mother. Where's her father? Here is why I say that. Now, I'm going to be reading out of the Apocrypha, which is a part of the King James, the 1611, forgive me, the 1611 King James Version Bible. Okay, and I'm going to be reading out of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, and this is why it's so important for a father to be in his daughter's life. And I would love to have a princess one day, or princesses, so to say, but I will have to be in my daughter's life, my children's life, period. For the simple matter, for her to see how a wife would treat her husband and how a husband would treat his wife, how a man's supposed to treat a woman, and vice versa, just in general. So that when she goes out to meet a man, the same way I treat her, he's supposed to treat her the same way, in a sense, if you understand what I mean. So this is Sirach chapter 7, verse 23, verse 26. I mean through 26, forgive me. Hast thou children, instruct them, and bow down thy neck from their youth. Not him, them. That includes the girl. So yes, the young men will be out in the field about with the man, hunting, cutting wood, things of that nature. But what would a young girl be doing? With her mother in the field, planting seeds, knitting, right? Doing the household chores, helping her with the other siblings. Hell, rounding up some goats, possibly, keeping her in straightly. You have to keep a child's mind. You have to keep a child's mind occupied so that they don't venture off wandering, right? Verse 24, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 verse 24. Hast thou daughters? Have a care of their body. That's the first thing it says, right? And shew not thyself cheerful toward them. Like I always like to use this analogy. Even for on my Eve, I asked her, was she afraid of me in a sense? The Lord, not the Lord, my Lord. Elder Apostle Tahar said, ask a woman, is she afraid of you? See what she said. So I asked my lady one time, and it was years ago. And when I asked her, I said, Bear, are you afraid of me? And she paused, and she was like, yes. And I paused, like I said, I'm like, what? I'm not abusive. I don't curse you out. You're talking about, girl, you always up under me. What are you talking about? And it just goes back, she said that she didn't want to disappoint me. So it goes back to reverence. Fear goes back to reverence. You know, I bet y'all reverence a hurricane, right? I bet you reverence a king cobra, a rattling snake. When you hear it rattling, I bet you reverence the roar of a lion. You ain't got to see it, but you can hear it if you're on the damn safari or something. You know what I'm saying? Hell, have you heard of, put some headphones on, like some surround sound headphones, and listen to like the top 10 scariest animal noises. Yeah, that will put goosebumps on you. But what I'm saying is that it goes back to reverence. So even with your daughter, I'm gonna treat my daughter like a princess, but she's still gonna be out there working in the field. I'm not gonna mistreat my daughter, of course, but I'm not gonna be a, "Pa, Dad, can I? Oh yeah, baby, yeah." No, I'm like, hold on. Did you do your homework? Did you clean up your room, young lady? Right. Did you do what your mother tell you to do? The chores? Okay. But my son, I'm gonna be a little harder because this world, what the scripture says, I shall create a new thing in the world. A woman shall surpass a man. So these women have more leniency today, which is why they need their fathers in their lives. Look at what's happening with OF. It's funny how they always try to talk about the single mother pandemic is with the so-called black woman, but these young Edomite girls are whoring themselves online, and y'all don't think that's a damn pandemic? I mean, come on, like what they said OnlyFans make more money than all of the NBA players' salaries combined. One girl or something like that in like a year or some shit. Some crazy shit like that. Forgive me for my Swahili, my language. But it's Sirach chapter 7 verse 25. Marry thy daughter, and so shall thou have performed a weighty matter, but give her to a man of understanding. So understand this. It would be like, say for instance, my daughter, I'm just Lord willing, if I had a daughter, she was 16, she coming home from school, whatever, she walking home, this is your young boy that I always want to go out with, I always want to talk to her and everything. He's a nice young man, but I don't really know him like that, you know. And he asked, Eddie, you think your father let you like, oh no, no, I can't date till I'm 18. As long as I'm in my father's house, it's all about school, his obedience and everything. When I turn 18, I'm an adult and I can do. But right now, no, my father's not playing. Yes, it's gonna be just like that. You know what I mean? That's how it was with my Eve. She couldn't date till she was 18. You know? But anyways, so when you marry your daughter off, you're performing a weighty matter. What does it mean, a weighty matter? It's not going to be heavy on your mind on what man is going to be taking care of your daughter now. That's why even in today's tradition, I just say today, because marriage in the Bible is sex, period. But in today's tradition, the father will walk his daughter down the aisle and hand her off to the groom, and then he would ask, you take the vow, you get lawfully wedded wife and husband, and through sickness and health, and rich and poor, which is why all this divorce is bullshit. But that's another story. We're not talking about divorce right now, but we can get on that too. Which actually that's a video I got to do too. But going back to the virgin. The virgin will be a woman that gets given off into marriage. Understand? I just watched the movie Black Knight with Martin Lawrence. Great movie, and I do a video on that too. How they kept calling him the Moor, right? And it was a scene in the very end where he was in the bed with the king's daughter, and I think it was a chancellor or someone from another country that was supposed to get married, so that they can bring the country together, governing bodies, and they can enrich the family. He was like, your daughter's been soiled, the marriage is off. And then they wanted to kill Martin. Jamal, his name was Jamal. They wanted to kill his character because he spoiled the chances of the two kingdoms uniting. coming together. That's pretty much what a marriage is. You're merging two families, right? They even call it, when two companies merge, they call it a marriage. All right. So that's a great thing when you give your daughter off to a man of understanding, because you when she leave your household, now she going to his household. When you were in my household, you were under my rules. Now that you're in his household, you're under his rule. Understand that. Because my daughter will have my last name. That after I marry her off to a man of understanding, she takes on whose? His last name. All right. This is Sirach chapter 36 verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. So when you get a wife, that woman's supposed to also be what? A pillar of rest. So it's so much more than just babying my daughter. Hell no. You're going to also be a helpmeet into your husband. That's what it means. Be not truthful to her. Because a woman who's always constantly giving things to her in her life, she's going to come to realize that this is all I have to do is just exist. That's how these young ladies today have the mentality that all I have to do is use my beauty. No, like the Lord said, beauty is vain, a favor is deceitful, but a woman that feareth YAHAWASHI shall be saved. It shall be favored. You know what I'm saying? Praised. Hey, forgive me, praised. So and saved. So yes, beauty is one thing, but if you're a beautiful woman but you don't have like the mental and spiritual capacity of a woman like Judith, that don't mean nothing. Or was it Ruth? And she was she a Moabite, if I'm not mistaken? No, she was Ammonite. I think she was Ammonite. I think she was Ammonite, because that would be King David's great grandmother, if I'm not mistaken, or great grandmother. Yeah. So even she was a heathen, and she still wanted to follow amongst the Israelites and be a wife unto an Israelite man. But and what made her eligible? Because she still carried the attributes. She still carried that of what a wife would be, which is why a lot of these Edomite men today, where do they go get their wives from? In Asia, because the Ammonites are the Japanese and the Moabites are the Chinese women, and the neighboring countries around pretty much like branches off of the Moabites and the Ammonites, like the North Koreans and the Philippines and all that stuff like that. So and when you give your daughter to a man like that, you understand that if something happens, she can rely on him, and she won't be abandoned because there was an agreement there. So like I said, with this young lady here who was a 30-year-old virgin, now she's a single mother. Well, what makes you a single mother? Because you wasn't even married, in a sense. You know what I mean? So this is Sirach chapter 7 verse 26. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give not thyself over to a light woman. So if you're going to find a woman that's also like-minded like unto you, just the same way that you can give her criticism, you should be able to take it the same way from your wife. Why do I say that? Because when it says a woman keeps silence in the church and things like that, think about the women today. So just imagine what Paul was writing this in the Bible. Paul had to write this in the letters. Let your women keep silent, like they talking too much. You gotta, like the elder apostle Gabar said, you have to be a visionary. You have to envision what you're reading. So even today, look at, you got these women. You have voluptuous women on stage in skin tight dresses, showing everything, holding the mic, preaching a sermon. Really? What did it say in 1 Timothy the 2nd chapter about modest apparel? That's what I'm talking about. But that's another story. Let me fall back. But a like-minded woman, would be like prime example. When Moses was at the time rule over the children of Israel, he forgot, or unbeknownst to him, to circumcise his son the 8th day. His wife circumcised the son, threw the foreskin at him, and called him a bloody man. Can't forsake that woman. She did the right damn thing. She saved your damn life, because the Lord was finna destroy you. I speak as a man, because Moses is one of my forefathers, but I'm just saying in general. That's the woman that you want on your side. That's the woman to hold you down. Understand what I'm saying? Or like when Judith beheaded Hophernes to save Israel. Or like Esther, when she was chosen to be the wife to the king during the time of the Edomites, during the time we was under rulership of the Shushan palace. The Edomites would be the East Indians today. It was Mordecai's niece, Esther. She was the reason why we were saved, because he was finna slaughter all of us because he wanted us all to bow down to their God or something like that, and it took an edict to slay all of us, and she saved us. So that's what it means by don't forsake those type of women. Those women will stand up too, and those women will fight for their men, just like the Israelite women during the time in ancient Egypt, when they wanted the Israelite midwives to kill all the Israelite newborn men, the babies, I should say, newborn males, and they were like, we're not like the Egyptian women. Like, she'll pretty much say, you got us effed up. We ain't finna be slaughtering our babies. You crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's why another thing too think about it. All this, it's a lot of sex trafficking going on. I mean, all over in East Africa, and babies getting sold up in Libya, and people getting missing all the time. And they got all this rings and Epstein and all this and that. That happened with all these heathen nations. You will never find an organization within the Israelite community where we selling our damn babies. Never. But that's just another story, I'm just showing love, talking about our women, because they be trying to shit on our women. You crazy as hell. But anyways, so remember, Sirach 26 and 10 and 11. This goes back to not being truthful to her, but like keeping her in straightly, because a woman's greatest attribute, other than her beauty, because some men are weak, is manipulation. That's how they survive. Sirach 26 and 10 through 11. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest thy abuse herself through overmuch liberty. Remember it said, make sure to take care of her body. If your daughter out here hanging out late night and not coming home when you tell her to, she coming in, she smelling alcohol, smell like cigarettes and all that. Now she got a little tattoo. You know what's happening. You already know what's going on. She going down the wrong path in life. You got to keep her in straightly, because she over abuse herself with much liberty. Verse 11, watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. Impudent means like shameless. Like, for instance, I could be walking and a woman could be with her man, and I just happen to just look over at her, and as soon as we get really close, she like glances and trying to look right in my eyes. That's being impudent. So if you have a daughter and she just walking around looking at grown men in their eyes, and or she trying, you know how women understand, they'll turn around, show their butt to you, and then they'll pull their pants up, and you know how they, come on, man, like, you know what I'm saying, shit like that, So anyways, the point of the matter is, there's a certain way you're supposed to go about these situations, and that's why a father is very important in the daughter's life too, and there's a certain way a woman's supposed to carry herself. I'm gonna close out because I do not want to make this long, but there's a certain way a woman's supposed to carry herself too. Let me get that if I can find it really quick. This is 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 11. But the younger widows refuse, for when they have begun to wax wanton against Mashiach, they will marry, having damnation, because they have cast off their first faith. With all they learn to be idle, wandering about from house to house, and not only idle, but tattlers also, and busybodies, speaking things which they ought not. Alright? I would therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guard the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. But the one I read earlier, when it said they be idle, going from house to house, and not only idle and busybodies, I was walking to the store last night. Man, there was like 6 young girls, like probably like 16, 17 years old. But they look like they're 21. But their mannerisms, just walking out in traffic, playing, laughing, kiki ha, got buttons on their head. I'm like, they idle. They just walking around, and it's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, where the hell y'all parents at? It's a Friday night. What are y'all doing? Y'all should be at the bowling alley in the sun. They just in the streets, y'all, looking for something to do. And that's how a lot of the, you know what I'm saying, we ain't gonna speak on, but that's how a lot of the older dudes be out here messing with these younger girls too, because they be out in the streets. Like, what you doing, girl? Like, what? Are you for real? Man, get in. I know your cousin, man. You'll be alright. Next thing you know, I know a girl named Portia. Man, it's wild out here. But anyways, the young women, you supposed to what? Marry mean what? Have a husband, bear children, and guard the house. That's the first thing it say. You're supposed to marry first. But ma'am, you went out there with the Bible is what? Sex is marriage. So that man is wrong. That man is wrong. You defile that woman. You're supposed to stay with that woman. You cannot leave that woman. That's some bullshit. I don't like that. Cause what if that's my daughter? Now I'm looking for blood. You defile her. She's emotionally distressed. Now she's pregnant. And she got to raise the child by herself. That's why they have shotgun weddings, people. But anyways, with that being said, I truly pray y'all was edifying, fast, stay in the spirit, no fear it, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing, stay humble, remain diligent. Kwame Allah, Mawaflapa Ball, Shalom.